Howdy, y'all. My name is Chuckles the Clown, and this is the Australian Grand Prix. But let's get into the paint schemes. So you see there for Dale Coin Racing. Here's number 2. And we'll only do the new schemes, actually, because everything else is unchanged. Here is the scheme for this for Marcus Armstrong, I believe. Yes. And this is for Felix Rosenquist, both rocking Liquid Death this week. This is the new scheme for what's his name? Graham Rahal, the Meyer scheme. For AJ Foyt Racing, you see a foil version of the regular one for Kyle Collette. And here you have the. Sorry, I forgot I had to do this, so a bit of a preview of what else I've added. But here you have the Bass Pro Shop and Homes for Our Troops car, the American flag, and some camo in there. I thought it looked pretty cool. Here, ECR is nothing new. Hunkos, here you have the Agape Energy car. McLaren, nothing new. Nothing new with Penske. This was on there last week. I believe that is all. So I made 4 new schemes this week. Yeah. All right. Well, let's hop into the championship. We're currently in the standings. Sir Scott Dixon leads over Alex Pillow, and then David Malukas, Will Power, and Mick Schumacher. Let's hop into qualifying here from round 2 at Australia and see what will happen in this 8-minute qualifying session. Car is finally leaving the pits here. You will see as we jump from car to car, we have updated graphics with our car numbers, but I'm not going to put, at least for a while, car numbers on the liveries. You see Stingray Rob in his new Agape Energy car. Let's see, let's find someone who's on a new car. Take a look at it out on track. Here you go with Armstrong. I haven't even seen this car race yet, because just before this I was like, why not? And I decided to invert the colors of the other livery. So you'll see it is the exact same livery, just what was white is now black, and vice versa. I think it looks pretty sweet. So yeah, let's see how that will go for him. Jimmy Johnson's still repping that Coors Light car. Who else? Stingray. Where's Ferrucci? There we go. There's Ferrucci's car. The Homes for Our Troops and Bass Pro Shops car. And hot laps have started. Here, watching Felix Rosenquist take laps. Now, watching Dixon back as he goes to start his first timed lap. And the last car that's going to take the line is going to be Graham Rahal. I forget whose cars I put in black. Oh, Jimmy Johnson, the first timed lap, and he's instantly bumped off. Half second quicker by Colette. Now Rosenquist to the top. And Rosenquist holds on over Rasmussen. Times are going to start ticking in here. gonna be really interesting to see. Here comes Dixon to the line. Points leader heading in. Where will he qualify? And Dixon goes to third behind Malukas and Felix Rosenquist. In the Liquid Death car stays up front. Power now headed to the line. He will go P14. Not a great qualifying result from the Australian. And off the first hot laps, it is looking like Felix Rosenquist will hold on as Graham Rahal goes 15th. After the first laps, it's Rosenquist, McLaughlin, Kirkwood, Malukas, Dixon, Rasmussen, Ferrucci, Pato, Pillow, and Kyle Collette in the top 10. Now they're all going to make pit stops, throw on a fresh set of Firestone Wildly tires, and hit the track for one more lap, I believe. I really hate that they do this. It makes no sense to me. Because like I've stated in the past, it is very possible to get a good lap on your second or third or even fourth lap. Ready to see the rest of the field is coming in, throwing on fresh tires, and then we'll be underway for the second batch of cars. Jimmy Johnson is already on his out lap, and he has a huge gap of clean air out in front of him. So personally, if I were playing this game, I guess with how short these qualifying sessions are, it'd be rough, but I'd try to do 2 laps in a row, especially if the track is then clear of anyone else. I mean, see if I can't improve on my first lap time at least. I think just being put back in a multi-car pack is going to be rough for you. But here comes Jimmy Johnson around to start his final, or what may be his final qualifying lap. He might be able to squeeze one more out. But here we go, Jimmy Johnson on a hot lap now. So you see traffic just in front of him already. I mean, this is what I'm getting at. And I feel like these teams should be able to figure out a strategy to avoid traffic like this. On board now with the rookie from Brazil, Kyle Collette. And we'll be watching Jimmy Johnson as he trailed by only 0.8 of a second. That isn't bad for a 24 car field. But Johnson just finished Sector 2. And we will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where he winds up. Will be another poor qualifying result for the Dry Rainbow Cusick Motorsports program in their first full-time season in the NTT INDYCAR Championship. Here comes Jimmy Johnson around the final turn. Being able to use some of that draft, will that help him? And JJ does not improve on his lap time. Maybe the traffic hurt him more. But the bigger question now, will Rosenquist be able to hold on? Here comes Scott Dixon finishing Sector 2 up. Ferrucci improves on his time, going P5. Great qualifying result there by Ferrucci. And why are we focused on Dixon? Focus on other cars. Here we go. No one's been able to knock off that top step of the podium. And Dixon will not improve. There you see Rahal is everyone before Rahal could, in theory, do this is a timed lap. But they won't for some reason. I don't understand it. Where you go with Grosjean, and Rossi was the last one, and he does not improve. So your starting order will be Felix Rosenqvist, Scott McLaughlin, Kyle Kirkwood, David Malukas, Pato Award, Santino Ferrucci, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, Alex Palou, Kyle Collette is your top 10. Romain Grosjean in 11th, Lingard 12th, Stingray Robb in 13th, Callum Ilott in 14th, Graham Rahal in 15th, Will Power 16th, Marcus Armstrong in 17th, Robert Schwartzman 18th, Mick Schumacher in 19th, Rossi 20th. 21st is Harvey, 22nd Dennis Hauger, 23rd Rinus VK, and 24th Jimmy Johnson. VK, a poor qualifying result. There you see your NTT P1 award winner, Felix Rosenqvist. Now on to the Australian Grand Prix. And here we are for the race. There you see the pole sitter, Felix Rosenqvist. 0 points on the season. In a prime position to score more. Dixon with a huge opportunity, currently with the points lead. There you see Grosjean with a decent start just outside the points. Robb with an amazing start up in 13th in prime position to pounce into turn 1. Armstrong with his teammate on pole. Poor qualifying result. Then once you get here to the rear, there you see Rinus VK and Jimmy Johnson starting in the back. 2 drivers who we could see move up to just behind the points. We'll start him on the red tires. And now, as we wait for Felix Rosenqvist to take the green flag. And the lights are out here in Australia for race 1. We look at our points leader, Dixon, heading into turn 1. They all seem to be making it through. All made it through with no incident there. You see Grosjean cutting it up, getting on the outside of the corner. 2 drivers, Power and Mick Schumacher, start on the hard sidewall tires there towards the back of the field. And there you have a pass for the lead already with Scott McLaughlin going over Felix Rosenqvist, both on the green sidewall tires. Then Kirkwood and, Ferrucci just took or passed McLaughlin. Ooh, safety car deployed. Huge impact with Christian Lundgaard. And is that Romain Grosjean? It is. It appears that Lundgaard loses a wheel and then exiting the corner. He and Grosjean slide through the exit and T-bone and hit into the wall. Both drivers are checked and released. Safety car is out here. And that is a huge, huge impact. I am the race director in this. So we are going to send them straight back to green flag running. It's crazy. After 1 lap. Okay, let's go green now, I guess. We're going to remove the safety car. We could have done another lap, but we were not going to do a full safety car stint. If anyone peels into the pits, I feel bad now, of course. But it does not appear like anyone did, so everyone is fine. But Grosjean and Lundgaard, I am not sure what happened there, but that was a huge, scary impact near the rear, and we'll see if these drivers are any more conservative or if we just have a huge disaster upon our hands. There we are staring at Jack Harvey for some reason. Now looking at Rossi. Graham Rahal up into 13th. The move there on Callum Ilott in the Prema. And now McLaughlin will come by to lead his second lap of the race. Just in front of Felix Rosenqvist. Fastest lap there set by Felix Rosenqvist, though, as he trails by half a second now. Jimmy Johnson unable to make a move on Rinus VK, who's still back in 21st position. Scott Dixon up in down into 8th. Ferrucci into 4th. And Power on the hard tires has moved up into P12. And it seems like these drivers are content with running in place, which is very interesting. It's something we haven't seen much of. But obviously a very different track here from the Miami circuit. Now we're looking at Rossi trying to make a move on Schwartzman, and he will get it done. Yes. Hauger now trying to follow suit and take over the other green car of Jack Harvey. But he also needs to watch his rear end for VK getting aggressive. He's now on board with Rinus. What will he have to say? We obviously know the drama that happened with him yesterday, with the driver running in 9th, Alex Palou. And Mick Schumacher overtakes Schwartzman. Schwartzman falling down the field in those yellow sidewall tires. Not yellow, Firestone Reds, sorry. Jimmy Johnson trying to make a move on VK, gets denied once more. Now it's going to be interesting to see if they do just tuck in here after that first caution for cause. No one's really running away with it. You see that rear of the field. They have a couple bubbles, specifically the gap. Those first two have just run away with it. I think Rosenqvist may be able to jump McLaughlin, but it has to be on pits. If they pit at the same time, I think Rosenqvist may be doomed. But we could see a 2, maybe even a 3 stopper. We're looking and we have a car going in the pits now. It is Santino Ferrucci. And Dixon peels in as well. Stingray Robb also peels in from the 11th position. So first round of pit stops here. But I don't understand, if you're in the rear of this field, why are you starting on reds instead of or greens? Why aren't you starting on the primary tire, the blacks? It seems like an unnecessary risk. But for some of these drivers, they are going to be able to capitalize on interesting pit strategies from other teams. But VK, with all that confusion with team and drivers peeling off into the pits, is being able to overtake Schwartzman. It's now up into 16th position, but you have drivers like Ferrucci, who's in 14th, didn't lose much time. Dixon, Robb, all behind them, who've already made a pit stop. I guess Harvey and Ilott must have as well. Yes, because they are much further behind. But now McLaughlin and Pato peel in. Rosenqvist going for the overcut. And he is a 2.5 second lead over Kyle Kirkwood. Now on board with Ferrucci as well, some of those cars near the rear of the field peel in. Looks like VK is peeled in. He has. Now Rosenqvist leading over Kirkwood, Malukas, Collette, and Power. and Ferrucci with a really good car. McLaughlin only cycled back to 6. So Rosenquist now on this lap pushing as hard as he can because I'm guessing he's going to have to come in this time by. See a lot of cars back in the field put on those Firestone primary black sidewall tires. So now we'll go from on board with one liquid death to on board with the other. Watching Fro here round the final turn and peel into the pits. Will he be able to hold the gap over McLaughlin? I don't think he will be able to. And he'll put on softs. It's a 2 soft stint. He's 2 stopping it. At least. And there you see McLaughlin. He's just going to run away with it. The undercut does not work here for Rosenquist. He lost 9 seconds through that pit cycle. And Rossi will be the final one, or one of the final ones to pit. Kirkwood and Power have also not pit. Neither has Mick Schumacher. But Rossi cycles way to the back. But he puts on whites. Could Rossi be going for a 7-lap stint? I mean, with these drivers for Kirkwood or Power, in this case, I throw on a set of primaries for Kirkwood, a set of reds for Power, and try to do a 7-lap stint and make it to the end. On board with Malukas looking up the rear of Pato, trying to come up with a way to pass. But now Kirkwood peels into the pits, and he will only lose a few positions. Oh, he's losing more now. Never mind. But Stingray Rob in a points position right now. And Power and Mick Schumacher do not pit. So now you know you can wait 1 or 2 more laps. Then you need to peel into pit to make sure you're not getting caught with their second stops. Because Scott McLaughlin has an 8-second lead. So you have to try a drastic undercut. And honestly, at this point, hope for a caution. And yes, that 1 lap of caution definitely helped them earlier on. But let's see the wear on Power's tires here. And yeah, I don't see any way that Will Power is not coming in this time by. As you can see, and he tries to hold on 1 more lap, but who peeled in? It was Ferrucci for his second pit stop already. He's only on 3-lap-old tires. Does he have a puncture? And he's putting on his 3rd set of reds, right? He had to have something gone wrong there. Unless he started on red tires, and then he put on the greens. But he's at risk of Hauger making a pass. And Armstrong way in the back. He must have already... I guess, yeah, Armstrong and Rob pitted late. But Armstrong must have had another issue. Because if you look at that gap, that's insane. Very interesting strategies here. Is Dixon with chewed up tires, only on 4-lap-old tires, and then we look at Power. He's all right, but Armstrong already pitting for a second time. Something was definitely wrong back there. Must have had a flat. And Will Power, will he come in? No. He's going to go again. Mick Schumacher peels in, power on 10-lap-old tires. Honestly, at this point, on those tires, one bad braking zone, and it's it for him. And he's just falling down the field now. Or not power. Just clicking on my Lucas. Yeah, there we go. There's power. Yeah, you can see the wear in his tires. Crazy to think that he is not pitted yet. Armstrong now a lap down after his pit stops, but Fro back up into P2. And Rob with the overtake over, or maybe just holding off Rossi. Pato now stays out. Rosenquist pits for the second time, trying the undercut this time over McLaughlin also pits. Kirkwood promoted to the lead on 3-lap-old tires, and Power pits for the first time today. Where will he cycle out? Is McLaughlin's already out of the pits? And Power drops down to P14 at least, probably farther down than that. He should have taken the Schumacher strategy, as Schumacher is 2 places ahead of him. And Schumacher pit at the perfect time to go on the green sidewall tires. It's Kirkwood now with the lead. If he can hold off and not make a second pit stop, he can win this race. But no, he started on yellows, didn't he? Scott Dixon now. What position is he in? He's in P17, setting the fastest lap of the race. But if none of the cars in front of McLaughlin have to pit, McLaughlin is doomed. If any of them have to pit, he's in prime position. Rasmussen with 5 laps on his tires behind him. Ferrucci on his, third pit stop? I think third set of reds. Pato pits for the second time. McLaughlin up into third. An whole swarm of cars pitting around them. But Dixon does not set the fastest lap, even though he had a great opportunity to. Mick Schumacher now in 11th. Great drive by the rookie. Jimmy Johnson in front of Schwartzman and Armstrong. Power in 14th, and you just have to be disappointed in that Andretti strategy. Now, as Schwartzman is a lap down to Kirkwood and Malukas, Kirkwood holding under a second gap for the lead. Oh, but Malukas, you can already see wear on his tires. And Kirkwood as well. I guess Malukas is on 6-lap-old sidewall tires. But McLaughlin just trying to preserve those tires and help that one of those 2 pits this time by. But I don't understand how you could in this situation. You have to take advantage of what is being shown to you. The Schwartzman pits for the 3rd time. He must have had a flat. Ooh, contact there. Big slide, big impact from Alex Palou. He is out of the race. It all starts with Robert Schwartzman exiting the pits, hitting Palou's right rear with his front left, and it sends Palou sideways. VK narrowly avoiding the incident, and Palou slides through the gravel into turn 1, hitting the wall, and his car instantly catches on fire. He is okay. Schwartzman will be under further review for a penalty. and I will do my best to go back and check that replay. That was wild. We're going to let the virtual safety car play out here. Is now you see Schwartzman. Wow. And now looking in on Malukas. So they have a few corners to go to decide if they are going to push to the end or pit now. 2 seconds or 3 seconds really cover the top 3. Kirkwood, McLaughlin, and Malukas all battling. McLaughlin now battling on Malukas, trying to make the pass on the inside. He appears to be able to get it done. But will McLaughlin be able to hold out? Kyle Kirkwood happily letting them battle behind him. He is just going to be able to run away with it. Scott McLaughlin takes P2 over David Malukas. As now you see Will Power battling for position, trying to see if he can get up into the points. And McLaughlin's in the fastest sector 1. Kirkwood has to be shaking in his boots right now. As you can see the challenge from McLaughlin behind him. And Kirkwood battling huge worn tires. He's gone 6 laps on this set of soft red Firestone tires. And he only has a couple of corners to go with less than half a second between him and the Penske of Scott McLaughlin. Kirkwood rounding the final turn. Hello, Kyle Kirkwood. Welcome to Victory Lane in Australia. Scott McLaughlin comes in P2 with David Malukas being able to cycle up to P3. And Rosenquist with the fastest lap on the final lap will take P4. The rookie for AJ Foyt Racing, P5, and Christian Rasmussen, P6. Ilott for Prema will come home P7. And Jack Harvey, P8. Pato Ward, P9. And Stingray Robb, P10. And 2 championship contenders taken out in this race. And 1 car finishing a lap down, being Robert Schwartzman. And here, we are on board with Marcus Armstrong, who had a ton of trouble today. Just ready to park his car and get out of it and go figure out what is wrong. There you see Robert Schwartzman finished 21st. But there you have your podium. In 3rd place, David Malukas, the American for Team Penske. In 2nd, Scott McLaughlin, the Kiwi from Team Penske. In winning, Kyle Kirkwood for Andretti Global from America. And here you see more detail. So we already went through the top 10. Let's go through the rest of the field. In 11th, Scott Dixon, race winner last week. I'm thinking he's going to lose that points lead. Will Power in 12th, Mick Schumacher in 13th, Ferrucci 14th, and Graham Rahal in 15th. In 16th, the rookie Dennis Hauger. 17th, Alexander Rossi. 18th, Rinus VK. 19th, Jimmy Johnson. In 20th, the last car on the lead lap was Marcus Armstrong for Meyershank Racing. 21st, Robert Schwartzman for Prema, finishing 1 lap down. 22nd, Alex Palou with that huge wreck on the second to last lap. 23rd, Romain Grosjean, who was in an incident with Christian Lundgaard on lap 1. Now let's go and look at your points standings. So everyone down to P19 has now scored a point in this oh-so-competitive championship. But leading the championship, the driver who's new to Team Penske from Chicago, Illinois, is David Malukas. He's just been able to put on two solid races to start off this long championship season. In second, Kyle Kirkwood. Third in the championship, Scott Dixon. Up there off of one race. In Kirkwood's race today really bumped him up. So he only had 2 points from last week. McLaughlin in fourth, and Palou in fifth after the DNF today. Rosenquist in sixth, Power in seventh, Kyle Collette in eighth, Mick Schumacher actually, let me make a correction. McLaughlin and Palou are tied for fourth. Rosenquist and Power are tied for sixth, and Collette and Schumacher tied for eighth. Rasmussen and Armstrong tied for 10th. Eilot and Rossi tied for 12th. Harvey and Lundgaard tied for 14th. Pato sits alone in 16th in the standings. And then 17th and 18th are tied for, or 17th is tied for Stinger Robb and Santino Ferrucci. Now let's go look at the Constructors' Championship. Here's Team Penske takes a 5-point lead over Chip Ganassi in second. And then third, you have Andretti Global. Fourth, Meyershank Racing. Fifth, Ed Carpenter Racing. Sixth, AJ Foyt Racing. Seventh, Rahal Letterman Lanigan. Eighth, Aaron McLaren. Ninth, Prema. 10th, Dryam Reibel and Kusick Motorsport. 11th, Juncos Hollinger. And then the only team without a point, Dale Coyne Racing. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And come back next week for the race at Tuscany. Thank you all, and goodbye.